welcome back to my channel. Today I'm super excited because I am going to be doing a first impression, tutorial, try on review, and I might even throw in some swatches of the Dose of Colors Desi Katy collection. Before we even get into this tutorial, I'm going to be entirely honest with you guys. It's going to be really hard for me not to be at least slightly biased because I fucking love Desi and Katy. I think they are the cutest, sweetest, most non-dramatic influencers ever. Literally over the years following them, I can't even remember a moment where they've made me feel negativity. I just feel like they just put out such a good vibe into the world and set a really good example for people, and it seems like they worked their little hearts out on this collection, and I'm super excited for them. So if it sucked, I'm gonna be really sad, but I'm going into it thinking that there's no way that this is gonna suck. I'm also wearing my hair straight for the first time in months, and it's really weird, and it feels like I'm wearing somebody else's hair. It feels like I'm wearing a wig or something. It's freaking me out. So if I'm doing this and this a lot to try to make sure it looks normal, I apologize in advance. I'm annoying myself. So the items that I bought from the collection are the eyeshadow quad, one of the highlights, one of the liquid lipsticks, and the lip gloss. I would have loved to have bought the entire collection, but I have to be fucking reasonable with my finances sometimes. I also already started this by doing my foundation, my brows, my contour, and I already put down some shadows. Because although there are shadows in this collection, it's a quad of 4 shimmers, which is not sufficient to create an entire eyeshadow look. When it's a quad and it's 4 shades, that makes sense to me. When it's an entire palette of shimmers, I start to go, I don't know about that, because if you have an entire palette, I wanted to create an entire look. But a quad, that I could get behind. I have the box here. I opened the box, took a little bit of a look at the packaging, but I haven't swatched anything yet. Can you hear the clicking of Charlie's nails as he walks into the room? Hi, bubs. Packaging is all in this kind of a bronzy rose gold metallic package. Just like a cardboard unicarton. So I think the format of this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to swatch the product, then use that product, move on to the next product with swatch, use that product, and at the end I'll just discuss my thoughts on everything overall, an overarching first impression. So if I remember, which I usually don't because I'm the worst, but I'm going to try to remember, I will put timestamps in the description box down below so that if you want to see a specific product in particular, you can jump right to that. So I think to start, we're going to jump right into the eyeshadow quad. So like I mentioned, I already put on some matte shadows. The ones that I used today were from the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. I'm having one of those days where I had a really hard time blending, and I don't really know why. 90% possibility that it's freaking me, just having one of those days where things don't want to go as smoothly as they usually do. Is the eyeshadow quad. I'm gonna pull it out. The packaging is very pretty, very glamorous. There's a little piece of blue plastic over that to protect it, which is nice. Don't want things getting scratched up before they even get to you. Super shimmery, super glam. I think this is probably going to be one of those palettes that gets dirty really easily, which is unfortunate, but I feel like I say that about every palette because I don't know, makeup just freaking gets dirty, man. There are the shades inside. Take the plastic off. We have Suze, Noli, Turboson, and Harpoon. These look a little different in person than I expected, and the bottom 2 shades are a very interesting texture. They look chunky the way they're pressed into the pan. Also, in person, Turboson is a lot more bluish than I was expecting it to be. I didn't notice any blueness in it when I was seeing it on the internet, and here in person, there's definitely a blue shimmer in there. So the shades Suze and Harpoon are both meant to be used with a wet brush. This one, Turboson, is meant to be used with your finger. There's no specific instruction for the color Noli, which I'm assuming that you probably would still want to use it with a wet brush though, just because generally speaking, that's how I like to use shimmers anyway, but I suppose we will see. So I'm going to do a swatch on the back of my hand, applying each swatch the way they suggest in the instructions in the palette. The nice thing about this is that they do send you a little card with how each of them is meant to be used, which is great because you shouldn't have to guess the best way to use shades in a palette that you buy. If there are special instructions, they should be included in there for sure. So let's start with the color Suze, which should be applied with a wet brush. looks nice and pigmented, very, very like champagne-y gold shade. Next, I'm going to swatch the shade Noli. And because this does not have instructions specifically to apply it wet, I'm going to apply the swatch normally with the brush and then also wet with the brush. This is a dry brush. With the dry brush, that was crazy lackluster. It did very, very little. Very, very little at all. I had to like kind of go over it a few times with the dry brush to even get it to show up at all. Let's try it wet. Yeah, obviously using this one wet is an advantage as well. Next, I'm going to swatch the color Turbo Sun. This one specifically says to use it with your finger, so I will be swatching it with my finger only. I'm just rubbing my finger into the pan. Now that I'm looking at this after I swatched it, it reminds me a lot of MAC Blue Brown pigment, which I absolutely love. So that is very exciting to have like a pressed version of it. You know what, out of curiosity, I really want to see what this applies like with just a brush. Hot garbage. Okay, they're right. Do it with your finger. And last, I'm going to swatch the shade Harpoon, which they specify to apply not just wet and not just with a finger, but with a damp finger. So I don't really know the best way to go about that because I don't generally apply eyeshadows with a damp finger. So I'm going to dip my finger into the pan and then spray it because that's how I usually do it with a brush. So let's see. Weird, when I slid that on, it felt like a cream shadow going onto my hand. That's very, very interesting. So applying it that way, I think maybe I picked a little bit too much of it up on my finger. It kind of applied like a little bit chunky, but it seems to be blending out really nice, and you definitely get good color payoff doing it that way. So I guess we're gonna see how these things work on. So I'm thinking what I want to do for this look is the outer half of my mobile lid I'm going to do in the color Turbo Sun. I'm going to put a little bit of the color Harpoon on the inner portion of that, and then I'm going to highlight my inner corner with the color Suze. I think that's where I'm going with it. I guess we'll see where the road takes us though, because you never know when you're applying makeup where things are gonna go. It applies very pretty to the lid. I find it a little difficult personally to get like a really precise application when using my finger though, mostly because I have nails so they get in the way. Maybe other people are better at this than I am, but for some reason I have a lot of difficulty using my fingers for shadows. Like I love a lot of my ColourPop shadows, but you really need to use your fingers for those too, and I find myself not picking them up as often because I don't like applying them with my fingers. That looks super, super pretty. That color is a lot cooler than I expected it to be, a lot more interesting. I'm just going to take a clean MAC 217 brush and just kind of fade the edges of that into my crease color though, because like I said, I'm just not that adept with a finger that I can rely on it solely, but I think that it seems like once you put it down with your finger, you can blend it with a brush, and that's not an issue. Okay, I'm going to grab the color Harpoon. Again, I'm gonna try it with my pinky this time. Maybe I'll be better at it with my pinky. It is so crazy creamy when you apply it that way. It's literally like picking up a dry shadow and then it melts into like a cream shadow formula. It's really, really interesting. Now that that's down, I'm going to pick up that same MAC 217 and just blend that edge into my crease colors. I decided I want to use all four colors just for good measure. So I'm going to dip into the color Noli on a pencil brush, and I'm going to wet that because of how the swatch performs so much better with it wet. And I'm going to place that in the underneath part of my inner corner before I highlight the inner corner. You know what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? Okay, that's a pretty shade. I'm going to pick up my MAC 217 again. I'm cleaning it on a color switch so we don't get all muddy. I'm going to run that underneath just to blend a touch. I'm gonna pick up this Sigma number 7 brush, dip it into the color Suze, and I'm going to wet that and highlight the entire inner corner area with it. All right, I'm going to pop off camera and finish my eyes with products that are not part of this collection, mascara, lashes, that kind of a thing, and then we are going to come back and talk about the highlight. Okay, the lashes I popped on are House of Lashes Iconic Lights, the usual, you know, that I wear these all the damn time, one of my faves. Now it's time to dive into the highlight that I bought. I bought the shade Mirame. Out of the two, it did look a little bit like it was the darker one, but it also looked like it was the more pink-based one, which is what I prefer for my highlights. I saw a lot of pale girls on the internet wearing these, both of the shades, and it looked fine on them, so hopefully it's not too dark. I'm going to start just by swatching it with my finger so that we can see what we're working with here. Very pretty, actually. Much more like champagne rose gold than I was expecting it to be from the swatches I saw online. And I don't think it's going to be too dark. Once it is blended out, I think it's going to be just fine. So that is good news. And I'm just going to apply that to my cheeks with this flat blush brush that I use for my highlight all the time. This is like an old Tarte brush that I got from like a set that I bought a million years ago, and it's not really meant for highlight, but it's my favorite highlight brush, so using it makes sense because I want to compare it to my other highlighters. That is gorgeous. What? Ooh! Smooth and wet looking. I have this one spot on my skin, by the way. I don't know if any of you guys have this, but I have like one little patch here that will not take pigment from highlighter. It will not pick it up. I always have a patch there. That has nothing to do with this highlighter. I get it with every highlighter that I wear. Put a little on the nosy. Ooh, girl. Oh my God, I really like this. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, the cupid bow. Big fan of the highlighter so far. Damn, I like that. Okay, for the lips, I bought the lip gloss in Over the Top as well as the liquid lipstick in the color Sauvage, which is the dark red shade. So because of, you know, how application work and removing it will work, I'm going to try the lip gloss by itself. Then I'm going to try the liquid lipstick by itself. And then I'm going to put the gloss on top of the liquid lipstick. That is what the gloss looks like in the tube. Honestly, it's like really, really stunning in like a very, very like glam but chic kind of a way. Like I feel like if I pulled this out of my makeup bag, I'd feel like a real bad rich bitch, you know what I mean? To stay true to form for what we've been doing this whole video, let's swatch it on the back of my hand first. It's super duper clear. The sparkle in it is like much more subtle when it spreads out, which is what they said it should be like. Really hard to judge what a lip gloss will be like until you put it on your lips though, so let's try it out. It smells like vanilla. It smells like their other lip products too. Okay, so it's beautiful on the lips. It feels, it's not sticky. It's a little bit less thick than I expected it to be. I would say it's slightly thinner than the newest formulation of the MAC lip glosses, but like kind of similar. But I have to say one tiny, tiny downside, which is just something that bothers me personally. I don't like when I go like this with the gloss on and I can feel the glitter in the gloss on my lips. It's not a huge problem or a huge deal. It's just something that's annoying to me. I feel like I'm exfoliating my lips. But the look of it is beautiful. It looks very like healthy and shiny, and like the glitter isn't too much. Like sometimes I feel like glitter can look really lame in like a gloss application because it's like either it's really glittery and it's like, whoa, that's glittery, or it just kind of looks lame. But this is subtle enough that it just kind of makes it look a little bit more glam. This, if it wears nicely, might be something that I reach for on a daily. We will see. It's very, very beautiful. This is the liquid lipstick. The packaging, ooh, the sticker just fell off the bottom onto my finger. Stick that back on. Yeah, the packaging is this really, really interesting matte nude shade. I've never seen anything like this on a liquid lipstick before, and it is beautiful. Personally, I always prefer, with a lipstick of any nature, if I can see the color of what the lipstick is from the outside of it, just because I do have a large collection and it's easier for me to find things. This is the only one that I bought, so it's not a problem. I'll know what color it is. But if I had more than one, or if they were to release more in the future, I wish that there was maybe a way to see what the color was from the outside. Even if the little sticker on the bottom with the name just had the color, I think that would be helpful. All right, let's swatch Sauvage on the back of my hand. Very opaque, very dark, super vampy dark. Actually, just for the sake of comparison, I am going to swatch it next to Chocolate Wasted and Black Rose, which are the two most comparable shades from Dose of Colors. That is Sauvage, and that is Chocolate Wasted. Chocolate Wasted next to it is definitely much more of a true brown. They're about the same darkness though, which is good because I actually like how dark Chocolate Wasted is. And there it is next to Black Rose, which is definitely the most red of the three. Like, it has like the most red purple undertones. It actually almost looks like it's an intermediate between Black Rose and Chocolate Wasted. So if you like both of those colors, you're probably gonna like this. Let's see what it looks like on the lips. Oh, I like, mama like. All right, if you guys know me by now, you already know that this is totally a me shade. Like, this is so in my wheelhouse. So like, obviously I like the shade, but it applied super easy, super even, and like very, very smooth for, especially for such a dark shade. It went on in one coat. There's like no patchiness in it whatsoever. Even under these like incredibly intense lights right now, I can't really see any like unevenness poking through like from the color of my lips, except like in the corner over here where I just fucked up applying it because I suck at applying things right from the applicator. But this is a gorgeous color. The Dose of Colors liquid lipsticks have a great wear time. I'm already aware of that. So as long as this is within the same realm of how those lipsticks work, then this is going to be beautiful. I really can see myself wearing this quite a bit in the fall, for sure. As a matter of fact, combined with the eyes, I like the eye look so much better now with the lips involved. Giving me fall vibes. Again, this is the second time we went with fall look by accident. So the only thing left to do is try this gloss over to lip color. I'm almost mad that I have to do it because I like this color so much, but for science. All right, I changed my mind. I'm not mad anymore. That looks awesome. Okay, that looks really good. I'm gonna take my hair down and zoom out, and we will discuss my overarching thoughts on this entire collection. Okay, so my thoughts on this whole collection. As a whole, this collection is gorgeous. The girls nailed it. It is so them. And it's also very, like, I can see it appealing directly to their audience. So they did a really good job thinking through what they were putting in this collection. It shows. It's very personal. The shadows are named after their dogs, which I think is the cutest thing in the world. The most standout product, I think, is this highlight, because it's very rare that I put on a highlighter in like one or two little strokes across my cheek and it is that blinding even on my fair skin, and it doesn't look like heavy or chalky. It kind of really has like a dewy wetness to it. It's not easy to find that, and it also is like very, like, I don't know, like it blended very easily. It doesn't give you that eyeshadow stripe kind of a look at all. This is definitely not a unique shade as far as like the undertones are concerned, but I think that this is a winning formula. I don't think Dose of Colors has come out with highlighters before. If they have, I have not tried them, but they nailed this formula. It's really, really good. The gloss is gorgeous. It seems like a simple thing, a clear gloss with gold glitter in it. but you would be surprised how difficult it is to find one that has the same balance of like clear juiciness to glitteriness that this does. I think it is unique in that way. The formula is nice, it sits beautifully on the lips, and even now having it over the lipstick that's underneath it, it doesn't feel sticky or heavy or like it's messy. Like, I'm pretty sure I don't have anything on my teeth, which is huge. The liquid lipstick, the formula is beautiful, just like most of Dose of Colors formula. It is always beautiful. The only one I've ever had any patchiness with is Black Rose. Even that, it's not bad patchiness, just compared to their other shades, it's just not as perfect. This, however, is super perfect. It goes on perfectly. I might actually go back and buy the other liquid lipstick shade, because I didn't buy it because it looked too similar to a lot of the other ones I have, but if the formula is this good, then I might just buy it just to have it. If I was going to tell you one thing that I don't think is an absolute must-have out of this collection, I would probably say the eyeshadow quad. I do think that the two bottom shades, Harpoon and Turboson, are very unique shades. The two top shades are not that unique. They're just like, you know, like staple pretty shades. I do think that they're very pretty and they perform well if you use them the way that is described in the little insert that comes with them. I just don't see myself using this on a regular basis, mostly because I don't love applying shadows with my fingers. And the other two shades that you can apply with a brush, they're just something that's like super dupable. I have a lot of things very similar to them in my collection, so the most unique shades are the most difficult to use, which is fine. They're not like, oh my god, this is so annoying to use. Just for me personally, I probably won't wind up reaching for it that much. That being said, it is really beautiful, so if you want those specific shades really, really badly, it's still a good palette. Just out of all of the awesome things that came out in this collection, this is my least favorite, even though I'm not mad that I spent my money on it. Like, I still will probably get a good number of uses out of it. Packaging is beautiful. I do have little gripes with the, you know, opaqueness of this, which is not really a big deal for most people. I would imagine just somebody who has a lot of lipsticks, things get confusing after a while. Overall, I think this is a hit. I don't think that Katy and Desi would ever put anything out that was like a total shitball, so I'm not surprised. There are definitely some things that I would change about it to suit my needs specifically, but overall, I'm really, really happy with my purchase. I really love the lip and the highlight I've got going on right here. I would have done different things with the eyes if I had not been just trying to test out all the colors of the shadows all at once. But considering that I was just trying to do a look with all four shades to test all four shades, I think it came out pretty good. I am definitely going to go and play with this a little bit more, maybe add to this, smoke it out a little bit crazier, just to have something a little bit more intriguing to put up on Instagram for you guys. So you should be seeing that in the near future. And that is pretty much all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, because that really helps me to know what you guys like to see. It also helps more people see my videos, which helps me out. Don't forget to also subscribe if you haven't already, because that is the best way to, you know, keep in touch with me, know when I upload, actually see my videos, that sort of a thing. And don't forget to follow me on social media, because I post there pretty much every single day of the week, especially on Instagram, and Twitter is a great way to get in touch with me if you actually have something to say to me that you want a response to. That's the best way to do it. Any other information that you might need will be listed down in the description below. I think that's all I have to say for now. I'm having a really hard time getting words out in one piece right now, so I'm gonna cut it off here. I think I got my thoughts across, and I will see you guys in the next one.